going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there? Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, episode 134. Dave, you're still here.
I am.
Is that a Brazil shirt? What are you wearing?
It is a Brazil.
The fuck you wearing Brazil for?
Because it's nice. I like it.
Listen, the Brazilian volleyball women disappointed. Wore actual shorts.
Pants, right?
They wore pants.
Oh, man.
They should be disqualified just for that on their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll stop being sexist for a little bit. Hi, how's everybody doing out there? We appreciate everyone. YouTube, on YouTube, X, Facebook, everyone watching out there. How are we? It is a fun night. We're back. If you want to give us a follow on YouTube, subscribe over there and like the show. That matters. Leave all the comments that you can. On X, give us a... Oh, yeah, Dave. You didn't put AOL Dave. You're a jerk. But Nate, thanks for pointing that out. AOL Dave needs to come back. But as again, on X, give us a follow, retweet there, and everything else. Boop, boop, boop. Am I still... Oh, is my microphone...
Now you're completely gone.
I'm muting myself. I need to fix this. I'm still on the computer mic. Do I sound like shit, chat? That's
not the worst, but
no, it says USB codec. It says I'm on the regular one.
Okay. I hear something in the background, but whatever.
Oh boy. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? We appreciate it. I've said that 1,000 times. We're gonna have a fun show. Last week's show, we had James and Kay of Melee Games on. Fun little channel that we had a great freaking time. We were just chaotic. And that's the way we enjoy it here. So go give that a watch. Go give James and Kay Melee Games. Go subscribe to them on YouTube.
Kay started hell recently on Twitter.
Oh, what did
which is going to... Well, actually, first question I ask our guest.
Okay.
But she asked about oatmeal raisin cookies, whether they're good or not.
Oh, no.
No. That's the final answer.
My mic is sounding... Well, my mic is putting off static. It happens. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's okay.
That. You don't know something? So my daughters were down here. I'm going to bring them in real quick. I'm bringing in our guest before I tell the story. We're excited. Jay Drunk3PO. He is on YouTube streaming. He's on G&G. He talks gaming because he's the greatest gamer ever.
Before you interrupt, the PayPal didn't go through. Just
let me make sure.
Dave, are you scamming him? What are we doing?
No. We'll deal with it in private chat.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving. Here we go.
All right. So, but Drunk3PO is here. Jay Drunk3PO. You know him. You love him. What's up, bro?
Oh, not much, man. Some of the people that are already in the chat got to see my epic Fortnite win.
Fortnite victory,
especially in a bot lobby, which is excellent. So that even makes it more sweet.
And we know you're the biggest gamer around.
You're
only second to Gary. Like only second to Gary.
Much better than me if you're looking for top quality gaming content.
Hey, you go Sea of Thieves.
I love that game. Those games like Sea of Thieves and like it's like for me, I play those games because I've had a stressful day. You know, it's like there's all this stuff happening and everything's moving around. It's like nothing's better than like just hopping on Sea of Thieves with like some friends and people in the chat that make jokes and everything. I love it. It's just it's a beautiful mix. So keeps me sane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun because Jay actually was sweating getting on the show because on Fortnite, as he's playing, he knew he had to jump on here and he was letting us know. He's like, I just want to die. And then he ends up winning.
I know. So, I know before the stream started, I'm like, oh, I got my sweat rag. I'm like, oh, man, it was like I was just trying to make it just in time. So, you know.
So I know we're competing with CobraCast tonight, and I would understand if everybody.
Jeremy, you know,
I would understand if everybody ditched Jeremy and came here because Jay's fucking better. Trump.
I should go in the chat right now. I'm a mod. I should just be like, don't watch Jeremy, watch me. Nah, he'll kill me.
I mean, listen, you hear him talk about Trump once, you hear him talk about Trump twice, right? That's it. It's like a set of boobs. They're all kind of nice. But you seen one, you seen a bunch, right? So, but no, we love Jeremy here. Eventually, hopefully, we can bully him enough to get him to come on the show. But he probably looked in there. He's like, oh, Jay's talking shit about you on the Alex Cuesta show.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is the Alex Cuesta show?
I don't make him want to come on because you know.
Just out of curiosity,
counter talk. So
yeah. I mean, I would love for him to come here and just.
Right, this ain't about Jeremy, okay? Come on, man. Like
it is about you, damn it.
Complex, and it's like we only had Jay on to get to Jeremy.
No.
We're making a little hop. We had Ben. We got Ben to get to Jay. You know, maybe Jay could just jump us right to Jeremy. We could just
Jeremy, Harry, if we're being quite honest. we're going.
And you want to know something? I respect it.
Ripper,
Honestly,
okay?
I really
Darian
do
Ripper. That's what.
I really do respect it.
But Jay, we're pumped to have you on because you are doing some really cool shit, and you look right behind me. That gentleman back there, John from Achromatic Chronicles, Blue. My daughters, before the show, my daughters are never going to be on the show, but before the show, my 2 young daughters, they popped in because they wanted to let Jay know that they are huge fans. My oldest daughter, Josie, quite literally loves the book, is reading it on her own, and they wanted to jump on. I thought Jay might get a little teary-eyed, but we held it together.
Beautiful. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. That was awesome.
So people want to go and look. They've had
here's the homepage of Achromatic Chronicles.
Yeah, it's gonna change soon.
Yep.
And she, as much as she liked blue, she's more pumped for green because her favorite color is green. So it was perfect because my younger daughter's favorite color is blue, older one is green. So I want to talk about that. Where was the inspiration behind, making Achromatic Chronicles blue? Why jump out there? Why make a comic, a graphic novel, all that type of stuff?
It started when I was a school teacher, when I taught 5th grade. And I had a couple, I didn't teach at the, a regular public school. It was more like a second chance kind of thing.
Okay.
And a lot of kids that went to that school were very poor and very lost, I guess you'd say is the best word. And they just didn't feel, some of them even wrote in some of the papers about not having value or purpose and stuff like that. And it always made me wonder, it's like, what would the world look like to a child, to someone 10, 11, 12 that feels like they have no value or purpose? And I'm assuming I saw from other movies and stuff a lot of inspiration. I was like, the world would probably look pretty boring and black and white. Just like no color, no, because for me, it's like every now and then, when you get in these busy moments and things you just need a pause. It's really cool to look at. Some people look at the mountains. Some people like looking at the lake, going outside, just seeing the colors. Yep. Some people live in places, I know in Florida, where the sun sets, it's orange sky and all that. And for whatever it is, it's just you just need to pause from the world. And to live in a world that you can't experience that probably was a world that had no purpose, no value, but everything was the same. Everybody did the same thing. It was very boring and stuff. So that's where that world came from. And originally the story was, and it took me 5 years to put it all together. It was a little bit here and then a little bit there. It was a novel, and each chapter was a different color. With a story, then at the end, it all kind of came together.
So kind of like an anthology that fits in at the end type of deal.
Yeah. There was I did primary and secondary colors, and a different student had a different adventure with a different color, and they brought that particular, as you saw in blue, he brought blue back into his world, and so they brought the different colors back into their world. And then it started to change when I started sending it out to test readers. Yeah. So I have this whole collection, right? And I'm like, I don't know. What do we do next? I literally went on YouTube and it's so you've written a book. Here's what you should do. Right?
YouTube's great for everything, man.
I'm telling you. So I'm watching all these videos, and just seeing what different people did, and the idea was find people that you trust and send it out for people to read that will read, and give them a little questionnaire, 5, I think mine was 7 questions, nothing major, and but make sure that they do it. Don't just send it to someone that'll be oh, I'll do it, and they never do it. But to find people that you trust, and that's not afraid to be hypercritical.
Yeah, absolutely. Be honest, right?
I wanted critiques of everything. Grammar, did this make sense? Should this be over here? Should that be over there? How does this work? And the biggest feedback that I got back was this would be a cool graphic novel, right? Like that would be, I think it would be cool graphic novel. So then I put it down for about 6 months and didn't touch it yet. And we started going through like lockdowns and all that stuff. And while I was stuck at home, it just kind of was brought back up again.
Yeah.
So quickly, how tough was it to transfer from a novel to kind of storyboard it? Because that's a completely different style of how to do it, right? Because in the novel, you're able to add a lot of context through narration between what is being said, right? But now you're storyboarding it for a graphic novel, and everything is basically being said, and you're relying on the illustrator to kind of help you do what you were describing in the background, right? So how was that style of going from I'm putting all my thoughts out and I'm letting it be as detailed as I want it to be, as opposed to I need to communicate what we want to do with the storyboard and I need to pick and choose what I want to be said? Because I feel like in that process, some of the quotes that you were using in the book, now I have to figure out either to be a little more explained out. And you used a good amount of some like inner monologue. I like that you had some of the inner monologue, and I feel like you used Blue to kind of explain some things too that maybe were more narration in the back. So what was that like, having to re-gear? Because novel mindset versus storyboarding and graphic novel comic mindset has to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I've said this a million times. These people that are out there that can make comics and tell stories and all that, that's not me.
Yeah.
So when I started, again, went to YouTube and it was like, how do you do this? Right. And they're like, okay, so you decided to do a graphic novel.
Base camp. YouTube is base camp.
Yeah. So it became very clear to me that I could not do it without help. And I hired someone to take my story and script it out, I guess is what it'd say.
Yeah.
So I found someone. I went to, I don't know what website it was. I found someone, and people were suggesting, like, go here, talk to this guy. And I talked to this guy, and they're like, oh, I'm busy. Like, go here and do it. And it was just like, I didn't know what I was doing. And it was a constant, like, learning as I go. And it's like, all right, well, hey, this guy gave me your email. He said, you know how to do this? He's like, yeah, I can, but I can't. So go talk to this guy. And then this person sent me to this.
Just getting the run around everywhere.
Yeah, I found someone all the way in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
And so I sent her name is Lily. She's the one who did the artist for the first book. And she's like, yeah, I can do this. But then she came back immediately and was like, I think what you should do is break it down into different stories. So instead of doing the entire book as one big graphic novel, she's like, it's going to be a lot of pages. So why don't you just break it down and do it that way? And so I said, okay, so now then that was the next thing. I was like, all right, so let's do that. So then I went back to my test readers, and someone recommended that I speak to an editor who could probably help me break this thing down into a collection of 5 stories instead of one book. And so I was like, okay. So then I ended up finding my friend Aaron, who's my friend Aaron now, who became the co-creator. And just talking with him on the phone, and he's like, I got this idea and this and that. And the more we talk, like, the more it was like, do you want to go in on this, man? Like, do you want to, like, help me do this? And like, because obviously you really like what we're doing, or what we have. You really like that. You have great ideas, you know.
It
like,
had to be fun finding someone on the same brainwaves as you, right? When it came
man,
because now you weren't on your own, right? Now
and again,
you had a teammate.
I ain't one of these people that can just sit back and do it, right? Like, I'm not one of these people. And so
unlike David, I'm on my own all the time with David.
It was awesome. I see you, Kings, Wiley, Dave, Lulu, Sean. I see you guys. Nate, I see you, Steve. And so anyway,
thank you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you, chat. We appreciate it.
He's an awesome author in his own right, but so he helped me detach Blue from the original story. So he's like, all right, here's how we let's worry about the other stuff later. Let's
Which
do this
one of you
now.
came up with the cliffhanger at the end? I'm not giving away anything for those that haven't read it yet.
Oh,
But I
that's
have to
me.
say,
Like
at the end, when my daughters read that, they was like, wait a minute, this is it? And like that was perfect. And even me, as I'm reading it, I'm like, because I read it first, because I don't bring anything to my kids that I don't screen first. I trust 100%. You. And
that's
I trusted you, and I thought
but still
fine. But even when it comes to, George Alexopoulos wrote Gooseberry Pie, which is now back in the rotation. But like I read Gooseberry Pie beforehand. So it was like, I always like to make sure. And I read yours, and I read it at the end. I'm like, this jerk. Like, so I made sure that I jumped in, and they, like I said, like, not to blow smoke, but they really are looking forward to it.
I appreciate it.
He's enjoying it.
We'll eventually get to gaming. Your expertise.
I do want to ask a quick question before I forget to ask it. Is there an idea after all of the books are out, because I'm sure green's actually going to do better than blue, and so on and so on. Is there an idea after all of the books are out to actually make an anthology type of big book? Yeah, that's awesome.
And just so you know, I will be purchasing the rest of them, plus I will get that anthology.
So
it's awesome.
So the plan is, and so the beef of the story was the original writing that I put together, and so when we were able to detach blue and make it our own thing, and then finally we got the book done, Aaron, who's an amazing author, he was just like, Jay, you got something here. Let's put that over here, and let's add this, and this might need a little more detail. What do you think? And so, we did a lot of, especially during that lockdown period, we did a lot of work together. And then I sent it off to Lily, the artist, which took another year to do. And she kept bringing back like, all right, well, if we do 150 pages, we got to cut this, and this. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I was like, make it bigger. So that's why it's 220 pages. That's not, I probably is too big.
But I'll say this, just in your defense, it doesn't feel that way while you're reading it. And what's really nice about this book, which I think some books lack, there were easy parts to stop at. There were easy parts that, as I'm reading with my daughters, I didn't feel the need to have to keep going to get to a point. There were easy parts that, as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, awesome. What's going to happen with John next? Boom, bookmark. And it kept the girls wanting to come back, which
awesome.
Is something to be said there, because that credit to Aaron, credit to you, that you guys were able to still section off the book in that way as well. Was that intentional, that you were trying to get points where you were sectioning it off like that?
We kind of knew, like, the audience that we were going for is, we call it all age, but definitely probably geared to grammar school age. Yeah. And
this should be in all schools, by the way. This should be in every single elementary school, because it's just a good. So before, I don't want to keep cutting you off, but
you're good, man.
The thing that I enjoyed about it, it touched on every topic that the woke assholes want to claim to care about, but it did it in such a good way that it made it not victim, right? Like, while you're going through things, you're feeling John's emotion. And I don't want to give away a ton, right? But you were talking about how the world is blasé and things like that. And you're going through these certain things. And I think what you're explaining is the way a lot of kids feel as they're growing up, where I go through it with my kids. They have 7 million questions at times. And I'm like, just stop.
Yeah.
Like, I need a minute. And what, you're getting through. And I feel like kids could connect with John. And I feel like there's a good connection there. And then as a parent, you're reading things, and as you're seeing, like, where kids may be seeing the parents making a lot of missteps, as a parent reading that, you can empathize with what they're trying to do with John as well. Although, you're still on John's side. He's the protagonist. So it was just a cool thing there just to see how that all, like, came to be and everything.
And then wait till Fortuna gets in.
So I want to know, because now the world is established, right? The world is established. We understand what the world is. They're doing what they want to do. Again, I'm not spoiling anything, but we're now in a different place, right?
No.
So what can we kind of expect without spoilers?
We're not in a different place.
No, but in a different place in terms of story-wise, right? Like, we have progressed
okay, so that's
a lot further than where we were in Blue. It's going to be a very different style, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So
without like as many non-spoilers for blue to green, because it's tough to not give spoilers for blue and going into what you're gonna do with green.
See, can you share that? Can we
Yeah,
share
absolutely.
this?
Let's boom.
You got it.
Yeah, I got
There you
it.
go. There's some spoilers for you
Ooh.
right there. So this is yeah, Eric, my new artist. I call him the dinosaur man, has taken this to a level. And
I love that.
Yeah, there's a little pirate ship in there. Anyway, so like so just some spoilers. So this book here is it's parallel with blue.
Okay.
So a lot of the questions that people might have had with
that makes sense.
Blue,
yeah,
like how the heck did Fortuna get to that island? How did this all happen? It like so it runs parallel, and then it opens it up to.
I'm so excited.
Whole thing
I'm excited now. Like just knowing that's what it's gonna be. I am pumped now.
Yeah. So and it's just like, here I'm just sharing some rough sketches, but
thank you.
Everybody knows I got
you got the juice.
I love pirates, man. So here's another one that you guys haven't seen yet. Here's Fortuna with Bluebeard.
Yeah.
On their ship, the Blue Canary.
What Dave, you want me to full here? I want me
to full screen that.
Boom.
So yeah.
And that artwork, and you know what thing is, it's like if you read Blue, it's similar enough that it could still harken back to it. But I do really enjoy this artwork. That artwork is beautiful.
The thing with Lily, who did the first one, was fantastic. She, again, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but she came in through, and I asked her if she wanted to do the others, and she had ended up getting her like ultimate dream job where she was, and she's like, I can, but it might take another 3 years. I was like, nah, I can't do that.
You got to strike while the fire's hot right now.
Yeah, I was like, it's time. And so when I went on this, I kind of threw it out, and then like people really didn't know me as like someone that's putting together a graphic novel. I'm not a comic book person. I mean, I love I can talk comic books for hours on end, but I'm saying like I'm not a comic creator type person. And but people saw that my campaign did really well, so a lot of artists just reached out and they were like, hey, if you're looking for something, let us know. And this guy Eric, he actually drew the cover for Green and just was like, I hear you're looking for another artist, what do you think? And I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, perfect.
That's it, man. That's it. There is nothing. So cool. I don't need anything else. Like that is it. And like we have had such a great relationship through all of it. His story is like, I'm trying to email myself something so I can bring up another picture. His story is incredible. Like he was an artist for the WWE, like for the comics, for like wrestling.
Those were really cool. I used to love those little comic things.
And then something happened to him where he got a disease where his hand kind of clenched closed.
Ooh.
And he didn't know if he would ever draw again. Wow. But now he draws even better. And like just hearing his story and meeting him, I'm like, oh dude, like I need you to finish out these books. How about that? Let's get a contract together and like let's finish out these books. I really love what you're doing and everything. And so
is he also going to be the author for the coloring book? Or is he gonna
the coloring book? That's something I'm not gonna spoil, but some people in the chat knows who it is. We
won't let him know it's Eric July.
It's not Eric.
I'm starting rumors now. Let's do it. No, that's really cool. That's
yeah, so I outsourced some things to a couple of people, so the artwork will look a little different, but not not crazy.
You know what you guys should do if it's possible, which I don't know if it is. You know how they make those little floating UFOs? You should make the floaty for blue and green, so they just kind of be suspended. I would definitely
one thing at a time.
Yeah, really.
I'm just anyone in the chat that has the ability to help Jay out. Let's do it.
Yeah. One thing at a time. But
I love
like we have so here is, let's see. and you guys are getting like all the stuff.
I mean, I love it.
Love the exclusives.
Are you kidding me?
Because we're getting all the exclusives.
I'm gonna have a lot of work to clip the shit out of this. I am terrible at clipping, but I'm gonna have to.
Let's see if I have any of the comic book.
Any chance Blue Green series could get animated? I know Peanuts used to release 20 to 30-minute specials from Dark Intelligence.
Okay, so I am allowed to say that Achromatic Chronicles Blue is actually being turned into a movie, an animation film.
So exciting.
And we have some really amazing people voice acting that. Matthew Marston, Gina Carano, and some others that I can't name yet.
Yeah,
that's so freaking cool.
I told you guys before the show.
We knew. And the thing is, though, like, my daughters are never going to see this, and you told them, like, keep it a secret. I promise they are going to keep that in their hearts. Forever.
No, it's cool.
It's going to be cute. Yeah. Oh my God. So
but I don't know when the teaser trailer for that will. It's coming, but it's like, it's not yet. But here is like, this is I'll share this. These are the t-shirt designs. So we're gonna have merch for the olders and the young ones. So this is John's version. Wow. That's gonna be on a shirt. This is Fortuna. That's green. That'll be on a green shirt, I think, and maybe a black shirt.
Both of these for each of my daughters because they love blue and green.
Yeah. Then we have the then we've got the combo pack.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, that's it. We had another artist do this, and everybody signed off on it. We like this is beautiful. So
I love that so many people are joining in on this, and no one seems to be like, no, that's mine. Like, kind of like gatekeeping outside of you, obviously, right? This is your shit. No one's touching it. But even you're working with the team and kind of really melding the story and things like that. But it's just like really cool to see, like, there's multiple artists working on this, and no one is kind of like, oh, Jay, you're letting so-and-so do that. Like, it's awesome. And the best part is both of my girls, when those shirts come out, we'll get them, and they'll be wearing them to school. I think
I'm getting mine Friday.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be kind of neat.
They'll be wearing them to school, and, I'll make sure to buy one so I can wear it on stream and things like that, and make sure I point it out, like, conservative dads over here, what's up, Seth? But we'll get Achromatic Chronicles in the stream and stuff like that.
Real quick, Dark Intelligence also asks, will there be a physical media release potentially?
With the movie?
What's up? Yeah, with the movie. And what's up, X-Wing?
Yeah, X-Wing, what's going on? It is a wild spotted drunk 3PO that you see, X-Wing.
That is...
Thanks for the sub. We appreciate it.
We got to get it made first.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we will. That's the thing is, like, here's the cool thing. As long as they still work there, the people from Universal Studios in Orlando, who I'm great friends with, are like, hey, Jay, if you get this movie done, we'll give you a theater. And you could have a premiere here.
Oh shit!
We'll give out some free tickets to Universal. Like let's have some fun with it. Like let's have some fun with it. So they'll give us a theater. We could show it. We could do like a G&G meetup. Maybe we'll do it around a MegaCon. Yeah. Depending on the timing. And it's like, hey, it's free. You guys want to come hang out? Like, just buy popcorn for the movies, whatever. Blah blah blah. Let's go watch this animation and let me know what you think. And I'll try to fly out some of the voice actors and stuff. And, I think that would be pretty awesome.
So quick question for Dark Intelligence. What if they were able to set something up? Because maybe the physical media, like Jay said, that might be tough. But what if there was some way where you pay and then it maybe becomes downloadable for you? Somewhere you can kind of keep it yourself and then you can put it on a gig stick or something.
Right. Once it's done, I'm kind of like, it's kind of like
pay $10 more and here's the download key or something like that. Like,
yeah, we have people that we have some great people that have done this.
And Dave, we may have to go out to that con when it's a release. We may have to figure out a way to get out there.
Yeah, if that's a thing. We
got to figure out a way to support.
And so they've done this before, and so they're just kind of like, you got options, Jay. Like, you got options. Like, we could get it on Amazon. We could put it behind like a paywall somewhere. People want to download it or sell the physical media. Yeah. So it's like there's a lot. It's just figuring out what works best for everyone. You know.
So when you started writing this novel, did you ever figure that it would become what it has become? Because like, you know what, like obviously you have a pretty good reach. You have a solid YouTube channel. You're up to 96.7 thousand absolutely earned subs over there. You know, you're on G&G, which G&G has a good reach as well. But did you think that what you were doing was going to resonate with so many people and that it was going to have this success, even with, you know, the outlet that you have?
Not even close. Because I essentially was just gonna like I said, have the novelization and put it on Amazon, and then it would just be like a link in my bio, right? Just
kind of your own self-publishing type of thing.
And and then it'd be like, hey, I did it. It's there. If you want it, great. And that would, I don't know, like that would kind of be the end of it, and go from there.
So does it help that you have it all written down already and you don't really feel the pressure to continue to write? Like you're not pulling a George R.R. Martin and you refuse to finish your books because you don't want people to hate them type of deal? Like, and because like that, you know that your idea's out there, it's in paper, and now it's just kind of tweaking it? Or is it kind of, are you getting self-conscious a little bit because so many people like it? Like, where are you in that process?
So the story is changing a little bit to make it into these, like, so the original goal now is just 4 books. So we've got Blue, Green's coming out, then there's another one and another one.
Yeah, don't spoil this.
But if it, like, but there can be up to 8. That's the thing. Like there can be up to 8, and
I'm gonna write an EU. I'm gonna write an EU novel. We're gonna start Achromatic Chronicles EU, and I'm gonna make like
tertiary colors.
Tertiaries.
You want to know the truth?
The tertiary
chronicles. I am all for it. If someone came to me and said, "Hey, I wrote a little side quest, and I love it," I would sign off on it in a heartbeat. Like that's this awesome. Is what, see, because this is what I love.
I'm gonna put the VeggieTales in as the
it's not
the pirates that don't do anything.
Yeah,
are
right.
Be in there.
You're playing James Patterson and just signing your name off.
It's not the fact that, you know, I enjoy the process of having a lot of amazing people around me that make me look better than what I am. And that they're enjoying the process, and everyone can get blessed by it when it's all said and done, right? The people are enjoying the book. You know, we put together the best team to give you the best product. You know, I will never claim to be something that I'm not. Like and that's the beauty of it. Is like I have this idea, I have this vision. I did the best I can. Somebody took it to another level, then someone's taking it to another level, and we're all in this thing together. And eventually, who knows where it's going to be when it's all said and done. And the fact that X-Wing is in the chat too is I have a whole nother group, and we're working on this other book called The Daughter's Revenge.
Yeah.
And that's my pirate book, man. That ain't for kids. No kids can read that one. So not that there'll be nudity in it or anything, but it will be a little more on the violent side. And you know, there's people in the chat now. I think Steve Brown is here. He's got the logo tattooed on his arm. And there is about here's
Steve Brown right here.
Yeah. There is about 12 people that have already gotten this tattoo of this logo.
That's incredible.
And
when it becomes a hat, I will buy the hat because I like hats.
It will be a hat.
Then I will definitely buy the hat with the logo because that logo is pretty dope. I looked at it on.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it on Steven because he has it as his avatar, Stephen Brown. But if you want to throw it up on screen to make it larger,
yeah,
we'll do that for people.
Let me pull it up
for the peeps
and get it.
But you know what though? Like, don't sell yourself short, Jack, because it is your IP that is branching all this.
Already, you could basically say that you have accomplished a well-sold children's book.
Yeah,
like you can already say that. That's a title you can put under.
Because it's your IP because yes, people have helped you mold it into what it is, but this is you made something different that is unique, right? I've never seen anything completely like. The only thing I can harken back that's similar to this is Pleasantville.
I get.
It has similar, but it's very different in a way, right?
Because, I get Pleasantville. I get The Giver.
In the way The Giver. But it's unique though. It's not
the pirates in there are kind of like Peter Pan. You know, John's traveling to another place, and then there's pirates. So I'm sure when I was like just pulling stuff from inspiration from other things.
The influence is always there.
You know, it's one of those things. But this is me and X-Wing's baby right here, man. This is gonna be, again, we have a group of people that are
full screen.
That will be. We're hoping January 2025 because the artist that's drawing green is gonna do this one as well. So he's got to finish green first.
He better, but
and then get back. But yeah, it's a crown of thorns and all that stuff. It's pretty.
So are you going? Here's the question: are you going to gift Shad from Shadiversity a pirate sword? That's from this. You know how pumped he'd be if you gifted him a pirate sword for this.
I love Shad, and we had him on our pirate channel. And
That's awesome.
But here's the cool thing about that book when that happens.
If you hand forge 6 of them X-Wing, then I fucking want one so I can put back here.
Yeah. X-Wing is actually hand forging maybe more than 6. He's hand forging real pirate cutlasses.
Writing the script as we speak.
And we're gonna sell them with the project. So the first lucky 6 will get. Like we got to figure out.
You're gonna background check them, so
that's you're not saying. Like
not selling it to someone.
It might not be able to sell it in some
rally.
states.
Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, can't sell them into the UK.
Right.
No Sweden.
It's gonna we're gonna go through the laws and everything and make sure if somebody bids on them, like, sorry, man, we can't send it to you.
I'm in New York. This would have to be like black market because for me, like, we have no freedoms here. So
it'll be one of those. But it's awesome because. You know, we're also making we're going to make official pirate coins, money, like replicas, stuff like that. These are coins. And awesome. And 9 Line Apparel, who I've been working with for some time, they're going to release that logo that we saw on a special 9 Line Apparel shirt that's only going to be available for like 3 weeks. And a lot of that money is going to go back to veterans. Like they have the 9 Line Apparel Foundation, but then we're going to take the other chunk of that money and we're going to pay our artists. Like at least start. What depends on how many we sell, but that money is going to go back into like the pot to buy the metal for X-Wing to forge these swords. And
so while you're doing all this, though, please let me know. So I can make sure I blast this out to our audience and make sure as many people as possible can. So, as you're doing any of this stuff, as you have any announcements, I'm happy to give free pub to friends of the show. So definitely let me know so we can give a shout out.
I think you should have X-Wing on and he can talk about all that stuff and show you how he forges and all that. It's quite
X-Wing. DM us. Go on Alex West the show and the X page. Shoot us a DM over there, and we will set up having you on.
Great 100%. Interview.
100% have X-Wing on.
But yeah. So anyway, that's later this year. Green is priority, and that's about to drop. Maybe around August 10th. Maybe might be. Okay. We just want to make sure, like, the coloring book pushed us back a month.
Yeah.
Even though it was 15 pages, it's just. The process of these things are once it's done, it's got to be checked. It's a
different type of paper that needs to be used.
Yeah.
Different type of ink to go to the paper. It's very different in the glossy style of the front. Like it's a very different than doing a graphic novel. There's a lot more that goes into it.
And then
X-Wing
printers pop out a couple. They pop out a couple, and you're like, I don't like how this is setting right. So then you got to go refit. It's just
absolutely.
I didn't know any of this stuff. I'm thinking, here's my coloring book.
You're learning on the
print
fly.
it out, like
you're getting ready with your crayons to hold it like that. Let me cut it this.
Yeah, those things. It's like kids aren't gonna care. They're gonna stick crayons in their nose and then color it. Like no, but it's we took a lot of time.
I'll tell you this: the kids do notice that stuff. Like they'll still color it. They'll be like, "What is this? And why is it like that?" It's like your sharpen color.
But this is our first one, and if it does well, we will start. Like we will make them better as we progress in these things. Like because this coloring book will feature our 2 heroes, but the next heroes that you're going to meet in the coming stories, it'll all start to grow. You could see them on the shirt.
I can't wait.
Holding it. It'd be like Captain Planet. They're all going to come together, and like
That would be awesome if in the end, like, there's a Captain Planet, like, all of them like blend together.
Captain Planet, like they just come out.
But he's not giving some stupid climate message instead.
The underline of like these whole series though is basically letting young people know that they have a purpose, they have value, and they don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
You know, John ain't perfect. He got problems. He's got anxiety, stresses out. You know, he thinks the world's against him. He gets picked on by bullies because he asks too many questions. He doesn't fall in line. You know, he wants to know, and then he feels like he can't do anything. You know,
John is a great protagonist though, because you see his hero's journey. And
really
well.
And it's just
you do the hero's journey
baby.
really well in a short period of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel rushed though. Like it feels organic to what.
But
John
that's the thing. He never saw
do.
himself as a hero or anything that he never thought he was the right guy to accomplish anything.
And he had that moment to be brave, and he took it.
And he had that moment, and he took it, and it taught him a lifetime. So all that type of messaging is what I want in this entire series.
I'll say, as a shonen manga fan, like I'm a manga anime fan, as a shonen person, this fit like that shonen kind of model of have a problem, overcome it, don't give up, get better type of thing, like work harder. And John is kind of that person that's unsure in the beginning and is now, like, you could see coming into his own. So I love it.
The truth is, and not to get political or anything like that.
No, get political. We do it all the time, and we will later.
There was a, you know, if you were on social media, if you're on Twitter, you literally saw these new type of books being introduced to young children. In the second, I live in Florida, so our governor did a bill, you know, where it's called the parental acts, something like
parental rights or something. And
and so then the other side was like the anti-gay bill. Yeah, don't say gay,
which was never in the bill at all.
Yeah, they just literally made that up. But when you saw the list of books that the governor love our governor or not, it's whatever. But when you saw the list of books that he was saying, this doesn't belong in the classroom, and you open them up, it's pornography, basically.
Yeah. You can find genderqueer online to read for free, and that's one of the major ones that's been brought to light. If you're curious, Abigail Schreier has a list of them on her website of all those books, but you can find genderqueer. I could not pull up a bunch of the photos and put it on YouTube. We would get a strike.
Look at the videos of parents trying to read those books in the meetings, and the PTA having to tell them.
Maybe that's going to be my EU in Achromatic Chronicles.
And then being shouted down saying you can't read that in this meeting, that's inappropriate.
But I mean, like, even I know X-Wing's making jokes, but even, you know, he shows off his little baby girl on screen and stuff, and it's like you look at this and your two angels that you showed me before stream. It was just it's just, as someone that was a teacher, it's disgusting to see that this is where they want them to read. Like this is where they want what they want them to read. And it's like, I have Goonies tattooed on my arm, and
never say die, baby.
That movie was always special to me because it was like the childlike adventure of, you know, going underground and finding a treasure map and finding a pirate ship and all that stuff. And you find the treasure and you save the day. Yep. Simple. And I don't know, like, for a lot of us that were kids, especially like us older ones, you know, like you stayed outside till the lights came on, and
you tried to push it for dinner, and you'd hear your mom as you were walking in. You'd wonder if you should open the door or not because you know you're late.
It's we had adventures, man. Yeah, you know, as kids, we had adventures on the playground. We had adventures on there, and you know, others would use their imagination. And
we had adventures and imagination. I feel like a lot of kids,
they don't push that anymore.
Yeah.
And we can't. We used to be able to get in the fights with your friends and then go hang out with them tomorrow. Like, they were still like
100%.
Those were the people you fought the most. You would sit there, throw your friend in a headlock. I'm going home. And then the next day you'd call them up and be like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, come on over.
Come home with a black guy. Who did that? Billy punched me in the face. Are you good? Yeah, we're good. I'm going over to his house tomorrow.
And then you walk in the house and the parents look and be like, can you not hit each other today?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you guys not do that today? You guys are friends. You shouldn't be doing that.
But like, that was starting to really hit my social media heavy, and I was like, listen, I was like, I'm not trying to be the savior of anything, or I just want people that know me, that I will put my money where my mouth is. I know I had a story here. I wanted to get something out that was safe for children to read. They didn't have any political nonsense, sexual stupidity. Like, there's no way children in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade should be reading that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, honestly, they shouldn't have it in school, period. I understand sex education at a certain time, but it's like, I
don't anymore. I don't understand sex education at a certain time anymore, because in the end, the fact that, they're going to do it anyway is not a good excuse, right? Because at this 100%. Point, not the proper people are teaching it. And it's, I think we need to hit a reset button. How the heck
do you teach a 2nd grader about you might be a different gender?
You don't. And here's the thing, and it's okay to show love, right? It is okay to show appreciation. It's even okay to show, an attraction in a way to the opposite sex, right? Because we've seen, Disney before it sucked, right? They showed those types of things of people falling in love, and it's appropriate to do. And kids are smarter than we give them credit for, right? X-Wing, thanks for jumping on. We appreciate, you got a jet. Thank you so much. We'll connect. Shoot us a DM on X. We'll definitely get something set up. But as I was saying, it was okay to show those types of things in a certain way, right? You never got graphic. Kids are smarter than you give them credit for. You hint at it, they understand. You never need to say this type of stuff. Yeah. But now it's like they want to expose them to these things, right? Yeah. They want to make sure that they are 100%, just indoctrinated by the fact that
Wicked Virtue.
Wicked Virtue. What's up, Wicked Virtue? But indoctrinated by the fact that they believe that kids are not kids. Kids are little adults. And I've heard them say that. And that goes with the concept of now we can teach them all adult content. And also, it's okay if adults love kids in ways that are inappropriate. It is a bridge to a lot of different things. And that gives us, we're going to jump right into this because I want to talk about education in this country. You are an educator. It's something you're passionate about. Yeah. It's something that I've read about. I was going to be an educator until I was stupid in college for a semester. But, that's just the truth. I was an idiot and I couldn't teach after GPA was too low to student teach. It is what it is. But I enjoyed, so much about what I was learning in a lot of ways on how to teach the kids and things like that. And the concept that these kids now are being 100% indoctrinated. And when you read up on it, I don't know. You probably know a good amount about Paulo Freire, right? He's the guy that basically brought a lot of the way that education is going on right now is being taught. He was a Brazilian educator brought in to this country by, I think it was Henry Giroux, and just has rolled with all of this bullshit that's going on with collectivism and group and social emotional learning and diversity, equity, inclusion. And it's just such a terrible thing. So where do you see education right now in terms of public schooling, and how do we get this shit back on the right rails here?
That's a pretty large question.
And Nate, no, I've never read John Taylor Gatto. I don't know if Jay has either.
I get asked that all the time. I never answer on purpose. Education system in the public schools are a nightmare, and it's almost as if and this is my opinion, it just needs a complete overhaul. Like, I mean, massive overhaul. There are private schools out there that are doing it, and it's going to cost people a pretty penny to put their kids in, but they are setting a good model for what we should be doing. There is like kids, everybody learns differently, right? So some people are visual learners, some people can read and pick it up, some people can watch. Like, you could put the same information on a film and they could pick it up that way. Some people are art students, some people are math students, some people are, it's all that. And I just think by the time they've gotten out of middle school, they need to lean into some of the stuff that they really feel that they want to go for. Yes. And I also think, and this is just some of the things that I would change, I think by the time they hit 10th grade, they should be like learning the job that they really want to do, and also have the opportunity to switch out in the 11th grade. For instance, students should be taught how to do a job interview, how to do their taxes.
Yes.
What does it mean to start a small business? How does money work? How does the stock market work? Like they don't teach any of that stuff.
And about their local government, right? Because we get
100%.
I work with kids a lot on my 9 to 5. I teach them how to drive, and I talk to a lot of 16-year-olds. And they say, like, there's these classes about government popping up, participation in government's a popular one in this area. And when I ask them what the curriculum is, oh, we learn about the federal government system. We learn about this. And I'm like, that shouldn't be a concern. Who's your mayor? Who's on your council? Who is your sheriff? Who is your
school board?
Who's your school board? Who is
100%.
who's your family court judge that you vote on? Like, who
and not
are
only
these people
that,
that's important to the community?
100%. And not only that, they also need to be taught on how, if they feel like they can run for office, how they can do it. You know, and it's just like it's little changes that begin to start. I think, like, for instance, 9th grade comes around, we're teaching young people, hey, look, you want to, like, bring back shop, right? Bring back, I'm gonna be a plumber. Okay, have somebody in there like, you want to make a lot of money, be a plumber. Can you do this? Is this something you want to do? Et cetera, trade school. And if they feel like they want to go to a trade school, I think at the 10th grade, businesses should get a tax credit to bring in young people to train them on how to do that while they're still doing other studies such as English, stuff like that. But it's not as, listen, some jobs don't require you to know, like, calculus 2, you know, it's just
a lot of jobs, actually.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and to force students
physics and shit like that
to do that when their mind is like, I want to do this, is you're creating an atmosphere of like, I don't want to be here. I can't do this. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do that. And it just, I don't know. For me personally, it just sends a spiral of negativity in their life when it's I want to do this. There should be like auto mechanics, and that should be an elective.
So I'll say this:
right?
They have that in New York. It's called BOCES, and Jersey has vocational tech, VOTech, where the kids that don't want to go to school, they go in the morning, they take their course, and then they get bused to these places, and where they can go become a mechanic, learn how to be a plumber, and professionals. A lot of former union workers do come in. So as much as New York and New Jersey suck in a lot of ways, that is something that they're doing.
Right.
Well. BOCES program is, and I teach a lot of those
across the board.
Absolutely
Easy.
I mean, that's something that should be done.
You know, 100%. Like when my dad was, their thing was, if you get an associate's degree, that's pretty good. Associate's degree ain't worth crap now. Like, what is that? Why even give it? You know, why even say, hey, you got your associates?
Why give liberal arts education at all? The schools should not be allowed to give just an actual liberal arts degree, because your liberal arts degrees don't do anything anymore. Your philosophy, your sociology, your psychology, while they are interesting, don't get me wrong, learning about that stuff, if you're learning it from the proper professors who aren't pieces of shit, if you're learning about it, it is really interesting. Or even just straight up English, history, any of these things, interesting, but not very useful to the real world, because there aren't those real world jobs right now. So
100%.
They should not be able to charge $40,000 a year for an education like that.
That is the biggest crime right there, is that a lot of colleges, it's a money machine for a lot of people. And, they'll keep operating that way. They get money from the government. They get money from the students. They force students to drown themselves in debt before they leave for degrees that are useless. Now you got a person that comes out of college with $200,000 in student loan debt, has a degree that can't get them a job. They don't know what to do. They never were taught life skills.
Yep.
They never were taught little things like that. And so now now they end up on TikTok crying like, why is life so hard? And it's sad, because like, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. There should be so many opportunities in every state to where if somebody wants to decide that they feel like this is the path they need to be, and everybody changes all the, I'm not saying they couldn't change, but at least get them on a place where, they feel like they're winning at something.
Yeah, they're at least on some type of
good
path.
at this. Yeah.
There's
like,
some kind of foundation there. There's something where it's like, okay, I'm going for an achievement. There's some kind of goal or aspiration to go to.
These participation trophies, and everybody gets a trophy for finishing last place. Throw that crap out the window. I'm sorry. I'm sorry your kid ain't good at kickball. Maybe they'll be good at something else. You know,
Exactly.
that Billy can't do. It's just how it is. You know, if everybody gets a freaking trophy for every little thing, then no one will want to excel in the thing that they love the most.
Well, because there's no reason to. You have no incentive to excel. If you get a trophy, the same trophy as everyone else, and you get the same as everyone else, then what's the purpose of being ambitious?
Exactly.
In
because then you won't try, and like you said, it just won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and there's something to be said, possibly. You know, maybe it's me softening up when they are young and just entering the sport. Like my daughter started off at U4, U5 soccer. There, I don't care. You came in, you're learning to love the game. You want them to come back and learn the game. The moment it becomes travel, though, and you start keeping that type of score, and the point is to win, then no more. You know, like you don't get a trophy just for being there. You get a trophy for winning. There's an MVP of the team every single year. There's a most improved. And that gives motivation for those people 100%. To strive to say, you know what, maybe I'm not good enough to be MVP. That kid's exceptional, right? But I know I'm good enough to work my ass off and become better 100%. And maybe have a chance at that most improved and become a valuable member of this team.
I think children's sports, I think it should be free. I think the government should pay for it. And it should be something. There also should have like children's arts, children's drama, things like that. Like all that stuff, you know, I think that should be something that the government gives us with all the money that we send overseas.
Be nice,
the least we could do is help parents that can't afford to put their kids in soccer or football or baseball or basketball or something. Let them do that, because that is, I think that kind of stuff is crucial.
Jay, let me tell you, I have my two girls in dance. If they want to go into competition, if my older one wants to go into competition, it's going to be damn near $1,000 a month.
Yeah, listen to that.
And I'm not a well-off person. You know what I mean? Like but there's people that afford this, and it's, you know, you do it for your kids, right? If your kid's passionate about it, you don't want to hurt them and stunt their passion. But it's like figuring out, it's like, how the hell am I going to find an extra $1,000 a month?
This is the thing. It's the rich can do this. Everyone else can't.
Mm-hmm.
It starts this great, here comes my conspiracy thing. It starts this great divide of people, of the haves and the have-nots, right? So in the haves, they can get their kids in those special schools. They can get listen, all these politicians and all these wealthy people, they put their kids in schools that have everything. They're not going to put them in public school. You know, they're not, they don't want that education for their children.
No, I wouldn't.
You know, and then it's like, you know, they'll go to the nicer crime-free areas and things like that.
Yeah.
The school that I worked for had some of the greatest people, teachers, everything. They paid terrible. The building looked like it was falling apart. There was no computer in any of the classrooms. And it should not be like that. It just should not be.
What's the answer with the teachers there, though? Because now you're talking about raising taxes, right? To pay. And I get it. Listen, teachers, maybe not lately, because a lot of teachers have sucked. But when teachers were good, they do deserve it.
I will push back on that slightly, because it is slightly a raising taxes thing, but it's also a lot of people are siphoning money from what's already being given to the schools in order to pay for a salary that they don't need. So I feel like that's a part of it as well. Because if certain people, like in the Department of Education and everything like that, weren't getting all this money in the first place, and there's a lot more money that can be allocated in different places. Now, there's a lot more to be said about that. But.
And I will say this real quick. If everyone's watching, and it's not a ton right now, I'm not gonna lie, but if everyone's watching right now, went and started paying attention to their own school boards, figured out a person that they liked, that they aligned with, or even if it's themselves, got them voted on, and then tried to do that each single time a vote was on, get one more. That's all it takes is a few people. These school board votes are decided by 50, 60 people. Easy. It's not a lot, and it is not hard to do. But the thing is, people don't know that. And that would have, for me, like, I know there are a lot of people that say homeschool, right? Most people can't afford to homeschool. They have to work. They need to get those second jobs. It is not easy to homeschool. It's expensive. You need to get a certification and things like that. The better answer for me is get people onto the school board that you align with, change that curriculum from the inside out. You can get all the DEI out. You can get all the bullshit out, and then change it from within. And that, I know you're going to still have the teachers that hang around that won't push it, but you can also police that as well. You could set standards for your community, and it's not very hard.
I think school board salaries should disappear, and
Agreed.
It should all be volunteer, like a public servant, and maybe some small compensation for travel if that's it. But some of the salaries for these school boards are 6 figures, easy, and and some school boards across the nation are volunteer. It's just, I guess it all depends on the district and stuff, but. The sad reality is that the wrong people are making a lot of money off these students, and it's a disgusting thing, and it's going to further the separation because certain students who have the means can excel because they got it, and they're put in positions where they can excel. Some of them are just fighting for their lives in some of the most run-down public school system that are more dangerous than the city of Chicago. You have teachers in there that are afraid for their lives that some student's going to snap and punch their face in. So they're going to do the least amount of work possible to keep everybody chill. Like their whole day is just like, let's keep everybody calm. Here's a pamphlet for you. So they're not going to teach. They're just going to get by so they can get their salary and move on. It's a disgusting thing, all around. There are teachers that shouldn't be teachers. Number one,
100%. There are teachers that hate kids and are just
I don't know.
Kids.
Like they
don't
took the job because they got the summer off and they think that's cool. So it's like that. Terrible. That is I don't know how you vet that. That's a whole nother situation. But it's just the school system is just like from the bottom up. The thing that aggravates me more about this country is the amount of money that we send to other places. And you might disagree with me, and that's
I agree with you. I'm with you on that. Fuck yeah.
When I look at these schools that look like prisons, they can't even upkeep their playground, so they don't like kids. There's schools that have like tape around their playgrounds. They're like, it's too dangerous, don't play. And it's like, that should never be in this country.
And those schools are getting money. They're getting a ton of money from government and stuff. So
Nate even brings it up. And I completely agree. We shouldn't be sending all this money overseas when it could be put in other places. But even when they're put in other places, they're not allocated in any way that cares about the kids.
And I want to get to this for you, Jay, and I agree with everyone there. I agree with Nate. Jay, this is a question that came from Dingus. Do you have any thoughts on community schooling that people are doing, neighborhood pools, money type of deal? I'll let you answer this first. I'll get mine afterwards.
Like neighborhood pools where the kids can go
like
swim?
Kind of the pods. Like they're doing a lot of like the pod schooling and stuff like that, where it's homeschooling, but it's a group of kids get together, like 8, 10,
I think it's a great idea. Yeah. But I also I think homeschooling, if it's done right, can be an amazing thing for young people that can get out of the classroom and experience the real world. It's like we're not even teaching basic life skills.
No.
Like I said, like these kids, they leave high school and they like want to get a job. They don't know how to dress. They don't know how to answer those questions. Nope. Wiley Dave is correct. They want the kids dumb. And here we go. Conspiracy J. You start with the education system. You keep the kids stupid and not knowing what to do. They rely on the government. Once they rely on the government's got them, and the government can control them. And that's a big thing that could end up happening if we don't save
govern me harder, daddy.
What's happened, what's going on. And I agree. The biggest thing is parents can make a difference in their schools if they pay attention. Like that's the big thing. They pay attention to what's being taught to their kids in class. I know we've seen videos and stuff where parents are appalled that that's teaching. I'm telling you, if parents speak up about the schools and stuff that's in their classroom, if enough of them, it'll be removed. The teachers will be removed. They'll be moved to another district or whatever. Absolutely no way any flag should be hung in a classroom other than the American flag.
Agreed.
100%.
You know, I get it. We want to respect other countries and stuff, but we're
no.
talking about kids are leaving schools, hating America, thinking they're the wrong gender, not knowing how to get a job, drowning in debt, getting college degrees that are basically useless, and expecting them to be productive members of society.
And they're being told the world's going to end every 10 years to climate change. They're being told that it's going to be impossible to get a house, impossible to get a job, impossible to get married, impossible to have kids.
I will say, this is one of the silver linings. I think there was a couple silver linings from the whole COVID lockdowns that were thrusted upon people, is that a lot more parents were actually hearing what was happening in their classrooms through these Zoom online schooling. So a lot of it was being outed during that time.
100%.
And that's when they started getting really afraid about parents listening in to what was happening during schooling hours.
You know, and with the pod schooling, I think it's a good idea. I like it better than solo homeschooling because you do get the social aspect, right? You're allowing these kids to still socialize. Socialization is important if done in the right way. If you're allowing the kids to just go to school and, you know, you're at work every day, you're doing all this, you barely see them, kids are being raised by their teachers at school and other kids, then we see a lot of things going on with that too. If you're not a parent that can be involved because you're working so much. So the pod schooling is a good idea. So
I also believe that high school students should have a trip outside of America. And I know that could get weird or something like that, but
that's a good idea.
I think that they should, you know, like whatever organization, Peace Corps or something, and serve.
And those are those rich schools you talk about, because I teach boarding school kids all the time to drive, and they always talk about these class trips to Italy or to France. The boarding school kids do it because, like you said, they're the haves. The haves can go do it, but at the same time, they're private. They're getting paid. You know, these schools have to put the money where it needs to go properly. Because
some of those rich schools, if they don't offer certain things, parents will put them somewhere else, and then they lose their funding, and then it's like, so
there's a status that needs to be kept there.
That's the thing that parents can run. But for an example, when I started teaching 5th grade, I came in at Christmas time. The teacher left. Like, she just was like, this ain't for me. These students ain't for me. No problem. It isn't for everybody. And it's
better to admit that.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I respect that. So as a teacher, we got, you know, before the school year begins that next year, it was like, hey, would you like to take them on any trips? Would you like to do this, like to do that? And my big push was, now I live in Orlando. I wanted to take my 5th grade class to St. Augustine, Florida, which is about a 2-hour drive up north. St. Augustine, Florida, rich in history, one of the first cities in America, things like that. There's like a castle there they can explore, all that stuff. They were like, you'll never get that approved. They don't want these kids seeing anything like that. I was like, all right, let me try. I did everything I could. I called school board. It was my mission to make sure this stuff we got approved, got the money. We worked it out. A student would go with one of their parents, one of their guardians, or an older sibling, and they would stay in that room together, and they were responsible. We had a meeting with the parents and the siblings that were going. This is what we expect from you. You know, this is what we expect from your student. And it was a big thing, but it was awesome. And I remember hearing, like, again, the school that I worked for were like, the kids, they weren't the best public school students. So this was like a kind of almost like their last chance, maybe. They didn't do well in a public school setting. So if they messed up here, they'd probably have virtual school or whatever. I don't know. But I heard over and over, it's like, man, you're going to have good luck, you know, good luck. So the first year we went, it was an amazing experience. And those students were just like, most of them have never left their county before. It's because they were poor, you know, and it's like they just couldn't afford it. And they went on a trip, and they spent the night in a hotel, you know, with their mom and everything. And it was just like, it was one of the greatest. For me, it was no big deal. It's like, and I drive here all the time. It's like, you know.
But you also gave these kids a reason to want to go to school, to enjoy, then look forward to, if I do what I'm supposed to do, I can go do this. Like, you gave a positive reinforcement to doing what they're supposed to do.
All they did was talk about it for the rest of the school year.
Yeah.
Every little thing. And it was awesome. And I would call people and like, hey, you want to help like buy ice cream for all these kids? Hey, you want to do this? Like, you want to like, and I was just getting little sponsors here and there. And it was, they had a great time, and then we came back and I turned it into a lesson. All right, history lesson. What did you learn? Like, we went to this castle. So here's the book, like write up on it, like write a paper on it. And it's like, so they got to see it. It's real. Like,
sick. There's a castle in the United States. I only know about them being in England and Europe.
Maybe more of a fort, but still, like to them, it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
We went to a lighthouse, and there's a lighthouse in St. Augustine that you can go up to the top.
Yeah,
and they went to the top, and they all like almost threw up. They've never been that high before, And it's like it was awesome.
Whenever I go to a lighthouse, I just want to see a giant dragonite.
It just was like they've never done this before, and it's like we went out to eat, and I'm like, here, I'm giving the speech. I'm like, all right, everyone, we're going to a nice place. You got to sit down. Like, I was like, let's act like proper. Like, it was like, and I turned it into a game. It's like, if you had $10 million, how would you sit at this table and eat? And it just was like, everybody had a great time and no issues whatsoever.
You
didn't have a problem.
Treat them like anything other than kids. You didn't patronize them. You didn't. You kept it at their level, but you also they knew that you weren't doing it in a patronizing manner.
We did have one kid who was with his older brother. They had their own room. They filled up the bathtub and they were doing cannonballs in it. Right? And then like when I was told, they were like, "Oh, they got water everywhere." I was like, "Man, that's awesome." So it's
like,
really fun. Yeah.
Like cheaper by the dozen.
Don't be doing that.
But wrong. Like cheaper by the dozen. Steve Martin.
Yeah, and so like I think the greatest thrill ever was we took them all to and I did that trip a few years with every class, and then like all the kids were like, "Are we gonna go?" Like if the fourth graders were like, "Are we gonna go?" I was like, "Yeah, we'll go." The highlight of their whole trip was Cece's Pizza's buffet. So it's like, I'm like, all right, here's what you guys do. You get a plate, you take what you're going to eat, sit down, and you can go up and get more. And they were just like,
no way. That's amazing.
We can get more. I was like, yeah, eat as much as you want.
It's
wait, serious? I was like, yeah, but you got to eat what you put on your plate. And if you can't, like, just tell me or tell your mom or whatever. They thought that was like hitting the lottery, man. And you just kind of, I'm sitting back and it's like I'm with the parents and I'm like, we're just laughing at them because they stand up with the plate. Like, I'm like, go ahead, man. Like, put it on there. And they don't know what to do, and then, oh man, it was great.
So you obviously did something for these kids that no one else was willing to do, right? And you gave them an incentive and you gave them probably turned a few of these kids' lives around, like without maybe knowing it, that moment there that I have someone in the school system that actually gives a shit about me enough to try and give me something that I've never had, which is a good time, a chance to bond with my parents, their kids. And now you're kind of doing that again.
And the greatest thing about
it's
that
like, it's really cool
is the 6th grade teacher was 10 times cooler than me. The 7th grade teacher was like, just like everyone's favorite. So to see them up. To see them progress to really outstanding teachers at that school was awesome. But I think God had different plans for me because what happened was I got a job offer to teach online to kids overseas, and it paid 3 times as much with less hours, and it was one student at a time. Like every 30 minutes you get a different student, and I'm like, I think I got to take that. So I took that job, and the school was like, "Oh, come back." I was like, it's just I just want to do it. There's parts of a teacher, the aspects that if I was in charge, I would change, because first you're dealing with other people's kids all day. Then you're trying to get them to do work. Then you're trying to get them. And even though we could talk about the cool stuff that happened, there's a lot of headaches that happen. Then when the kids leave, you got to like go into like, I'm just speaking for the state of Florida. I don't know how it is in other states. You got to like type in every lesson that you did in these standard numbers. And dude, it is a headache, man. I hate it. And you're there for like 3 hours, just like, okay, what did we do? Science. You got to look it up. Then you got to go to Florida standards and look up exactly what you taught and then type it in for each student. And you got to type it in the state of Florida computer. And I'm like,
that's a ton.
I would complain about that crap every time the state of Florida showed. I was like, what are we doing, man? This is like,
I can't imagine if you're a coach. If you're a coach and you have to fill that in plus go coach
I was the basketball coach.
Oh, so that sucks. That's miserable. So
when I got this other job offer, it was like, I took it, and I said, we'll see what happens. But it was, so I left. I stayed till the end of the school year. I told everyone I was leaving. And, they brought in the next guy. And I started this online teaching. And then let's see, I did that all the way to Christmas. It was great. I started the YouTube channel, and then like COVID and all that stuff hit. And my school went through it, man. Lockdown and masks and all that. Even in Florida, it's like students were messed up. And it was just like, did they have to get the jab to go back to work? All that stuff was happening. And I'm like, I'm glad I kind of, as much as I liked it at the time, I'm glad I pulled away. And I'm at home. I wake up, I go to my computer, I teach, and then I am done with my day and I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
And some of my friends that were there during that, they were like, it was horrible. It was so stressful. It was like it was just hard. They didn't want to be there, and some of the teachers quit and they didn't want to come back, and it was just like it was a nightmare for not just my school that I worked at, but a lot.
Everyone.
And like certain states I think were shut down for so long that the teachers just didn't go back.
It was like 2 years here in New York, basically.
Like,
so
Florida,
they did virtual, and virtual was like a nightmare for so many teachers.
Oh,
and
man,
I
can't imagine.
And a lot of older teachers were pushed out because they're like, I can't use this technology. I don't know what I'm doing. And there was no training on it. There was no, like, they were kind of crash course. Like, they were, at this point, they were just slowly, like, streamlining in Google Classroom and the Google Class and the new smart boards and stuff like that a lot of teachers are using. But that was a struggle for a lot of your older teachers already. And now you're asking them, they're like, what the hell is Zoom? How do I put something on the screen? What is sharing? And it was a lot with no training, like just boom. And no one suffered more than the kids.
No,
all the kids that I've talked to said they learned nothing and they felt like they all got dumber. And speaking of getting dumber, not to knock him, but I want to share something that Nate G threw up here. Keon Coleman, who's a football player for the Buffalo Bills, a rookie, barely knew how to sign his contract. And I'll say this, I see kids in my job that they have to sign something. And so many of them print because they don't know how to sign their name in cursive. And it to me, I see that and I'm just like, that's so, it's necessary. We should be learning cursive. Are you going to use script a lot? No. But you should know how to read it. It's put on billboards. It is used, as advertisements. You should have a signature. Whether it is like mine, where it's a whole bunch of scribbles, but it is my mark. And if I needed to write my name in cursive, I could. If I needed to write in perfect cursive, I know how. Mm-hmm. But it needs to have some sort of a script look to it. And so it's like, to me, that is so bizarre. It's tough. So I want to switch gears and I want to jump into some positive. I want to end off tonight with some positive. Gina Carano, one of your good friends, someone who you were a bodyguard for a little while, which, that had to be lots of fun just going around with her and doing all that stuff. But the judge in her case against Disney denied Disney's motion to dismiss, which should be universally celebrated because that rarely happens. When these mega companies want to get something out of there, it is a rare time that the judges, side with the little person. Now, Gina's not a little person. She has the backing of Elon Musk, but still, Disney is Disney. So this is a huge win. Dave, what did you pull up there? Is this
sharing a tweet?
This Gina's tweet right here?
Yep.
So we'll throw it up on screen. It's a long tweet. Boom. Dave, I don't know. Do you want to read it or you want me to?
No, we'll just have it up there.
Have it up there? Okay.
Yeah.
But so it is I see it as just from that point, a massive victory that Disney was kind of told to piss off. Jay, how do you feel about what happened in that situation so far?
I think it's awesome. There's so much for people that have been following this story. We saw firsthand the abuse that she was dealing with not only like Twitter mob weirdos, but like even Lucasfilm employees. And the fact that many YouTubers made videos on those tweets from Lucasfilm. I was one, but there were others, like tons of others that were like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
You know, like, who are these people? Listen, Rachel Zegler was like one of the starts to that hate campaign for Gina.
Yep.
Everyone that wrote for the High Republic, they were all, there's tons of tweets about Gina that they wrote that they deleted, but because YouTubers made videos on it, you know, they're in the videos.
Yeah.
These are just terrible people that sounded like once Gina was removed, the goal was to make her a horrible person that nobody needs to work with and nobody should be around.
Mm-hmm.
And she is the exact opposite of all of that. And if you ever get a chance to meet her at one of these Comic Cons, people will tell you, like, you know, she's not one of those sign and goes, you know, like people like, hey, can I get your autograph? Like, she sits there for a minute and she'll stay till 11 midnight. Like, that's awesome. Once the show is done, to make sure everybody got their opportunity. You know, not too many people are like that. A lot of people, and that's fine. That's their thing. Not critics, like they just sign it. You know, it's like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, hey, sign and go.
And you know, too, I think like one of the big things with Gina is, you know, you mentioned how Achromatic Chronicles is becoming a team effort, right? I feel like Gina, she was incredibly courageous throughout all of this, standing up when she could have easily just been shoved to the side. But I feel like people like yourself, like basically a bunch of the people from G&G and things like that, and a lot of that type of kind of base comic nerd space, and some more that kind of reached out and was like, hey, this is fucked up. Like, this shouldn't be happening. And I feel like that helped in a good amount of ways, because it got the thousands upon thousands of people that watch all these channels to now not just do anything, but be aware of what's going on. And that's massive. And it kept on giving Gina the support that she needed from random ass strangers to be like, hey, fuck Disney, screw Star Wars, we got you. And I feel like that alone sometimes in a situation like hers, where I feel like when she first started going at this, it had to feel lonely, being like, hey, I have this, one of the biggest, most important companies in the world trying to destroy my career, you know, where she stopped being a fighter at that point, and movies was her way in. Like, she was going to be a movie star, and she was on her way to doing it. She was awesome in Deadpool. She was great in Mandalorian. Like, she was fantastic. And I feel like that had to be scary as shit to watch. Like, I might have just sunk my career for something I believe in, and something that is pretty benign by the standards of the internet, what she said. And I feel like it was a big team effort to help propel her, right? Because it easily could have been story about Gina Carano, let's move on to the next thing. But people didn't let it die. And I feel like it's huge to where it came in, because she's still courageous as hell. And I love the support that she's getting now, and the fact that Elon's behind her. And if Gina watches this at all, we're all behind you as well. Mm-hmm. Don't stop. And I think a lot of people have said, do not take the settlement. Fuck Disney. As long as Elon is willing to continue to fund this, push. Because if Gina, if you're the reason why Disney as we know it gets taken down so it can eventually rise like the Phoenix and become right again, you're already a hero. You will be the hero. So keep going, because I think it's just been so cool how the community's rallied around her.
Being around her during all that, it was very hard. She lost, not only did she, like, people don't realize, like, she lost her job as Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Probably when we go to the Comic-Cons, everybody wants a Cara Dune signature. And it might be because Disney doesn't want Cara Dune around. Maybe that's what made it, but people remember her from MMA days. Angel Dust from Deadpool. She was in Fast and the Furious.
Yep,
She beat up or she fought Gal Gadot, right?
Mhm.
Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mandalorian went down the moment she was taken out. She was huge and she was
solid.
great. And the Mandalorian
It might be better for her that she wasn't
since she
still in
went out of there.
Mandalorian.
She didn't get to see Jack Black and Lizzo fucking flop on the screen.
She would have been filming her Rangers of the New Republic. And but this lawsuit is, we never thought we'd be here.
No.
And now, like the documents that were just released yesterday, who they want to call to the stand was Pedro, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Chapek, Bear Grylls. Do you guys know the Bear Grylls story?
Yep. You can tell it though, just for everyone.
A lot of people don't remember this, but she filmed an episode with Bear Grylls. It was Bear Grylls, and he had a celebrity, won the celebrity, and he did something with the celebrity. It challenged them, and they had filmed that immediately after Mandalorian season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was already, so that was already filmed, and that was National Geographic. National Geographic is, of course, owned by Disney.
Yep.
And when she was fired, they removed it from the TV guide.
Yep.
And it was a YouTuber that found it. And then once it got out, everybody was tweeting at Bear Grylls and making videos and all that stuff, and they got it reinstated. And I was like, okay, that's a small victory.
Hell yeah.
And it's funny to me that Disney, or mostly Kathleen Kennedy, let's be honest, thought that we can let Gina go. And she was in 4 episodes. No one's gonna care. She wasn't an A-lister. She wasn't this.
She wasn't lame and gay enough.
She's not. No, what I'm saying is, like, they thought that they could let her go.
Yes.
And she would just be forgotten because she wasn't a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't realize that these activists that work for Lucasfilm right now don't understand that Gina had a massive following because she broke the door down for women MMA.
Mm-hmm.
She was very successful there.
Yeah.
And she had other things too. She had a fan base already that were fighters,
literally fighters.
And then and then once, Dana White and all that, it's like, then once she got fired for speaking her mind, it was like, oh, this is bull crap.
Yep.
And then it started to explode. And then when YouTubers and people started talking about this, saying this is wrong, just because look what Pedro Pascal's saying, and look what Mark Hamill's saying. They all work. Look what Jack Black just recently said. They all work for Disney. This is wrong what you did to her. It started to hit national news. Then it started hitting national news, and it just started snowballing. And then everybody became aware, and they're just like, no, this is wrong. So when Gina does these conventions now, her lines are freaking massive. It's not even close.
They should have had her at the RNC. She should have been a speaker at the RNC. That would have been fucking. They missed an opportunity because she would have torn the doors off. Because not only is she loved with MMA and everything, but she's really good in public. She's good at speaking. She's charismatic.
Yeah.
And not to mention, she's beautiful. And people do not talk about it enough. And, I do another podcast about track and field. And I always say that biggest part of some of these sports that don't get love is because they do not promote their good-looking people enough.
Yeah.
Like, especially the ones that are successful. And listen, part of the reason why people loved her in MMA is because she was fucking hot. Like, if we're being quite honest, like some of her weigh-ins, she's coming in there in their weigh-ins looking like an absolute dime. And everyone's like, all right, I want to watch her fight. Like,
well, what's the gift that's passed around to most of her? Where she's biting her lip.
Oh my god!
I
loved on G&G when she explained that she did not even know she was doing that. That she was gone at that point. If anyone doesn't know that story, I'm not going to tell it as good. Go watch the Geeks and Gamers where Gina Carano was on. That story is fucking hilarious. I'm not going to lie. But it's like, it's a great victory for just everything that I think all of us in this space have been talking about with all the bullshit with Disney. And if it gets to Discovery, like I think we all want it to, I think it could be absolutely. It's probably going to get there. It's going to be massive.
Yeah,
this is what I think, and I do not have any inside source or any information or anything like that. There's two things that could possibly happen. Number one, I just want to be on record and just say, whatever Gina decides, whatever happens, if she finds closure,
100%,
I'm okay with it.
Yes.
Do I want to see them go through their files? Of course.
Yes.
But if something comes out where she's just like, look, this is what I wanted, hey man, it's just your case, not mine. So there you go.
And we're not in her position. We have no idea what's being said to her on the inside, what type of fear, because honestly, Gina, this is fearful. We've seen people be offed, I will put it in the best way possible, for some shit. And I do not think a corporation like Disney is above it. I'm not going to lie.
I think the biggest, like what people aren't talking about, is if it goes to trial, Pedro Pascal will say whatever. The Bear Grylls thing, if he has to say that, yeah, they wanted her out, I think that would be massive.
Yep.
Because that just shows that they were just trying to destroy this poor girl.
And who else wanted her out, right? It would be more than just Kathleen Kennedy. It would be all the people involved.
This is the big one that no one's talking about, and I think this could shake Disney for whatever it is Bob Chapek, and I'll tell you why. Bob Chapek was put in charge. He was a scapegoat. Everybody knows it.
Yes,
he was put in charge right before the lockdowns, and Disney was going to implode. They couldn't keep their parks open. They couldn't make money. They couldn't put movies out. They couldn't put. And Bob Iger's like, I don't want to deal with that crap. Hey, Bob, I'm quitting. You're in charge.
Fall Guy Chapek.
Yep. And he tried to run the company, whatever, and it was a mess. And there was people in the company wanting him gone and all that stuff. And Bob Iger, it's reported he never gave up his office at Disney. They made Chapek go into this other room. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna move out in just time, but I like the office, and Disney's gonna let me use it."
Give Chapek the cuck chair.
And when it was time for him to be fired, he signed an NDA and he got a huge compensation package. I mean, they paid that man to shut up.
Which the NDA could be waived if it's discovered.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Imagine this man who realized he was the fall guy and can't say anything, but now he goes to court and a judge says, you got to tell us. And now here's his opportunity to let everyone know how much of a piece of trash Kathleen Kennedy is and everyone else and how they treated him and how they, and he just lets it. I think he would just let it fly, man.
And that will let us know who's winning the case. Because if he's willing to let it fly, then he's going to believe that he's not going to go to the non-winning side. A guy like that, if he thinks that Gina's going to lose, there's not enough, he will plead the fifth and keep his mouth shut. So he stays in good graces.
Got a vendetta, and he just because he's not allowed to say anything, and everybody's laughing at him. He knows this.
They made him make a hostage video.
Yeah, they really 100%.
Did. And so if he's like, hey, honey, you might go to court and you might have to talk bad about Disney. Oh, really?
Oh, that's so sad. Well, I don't know if I can
let's see if it gets there. Because he could say all kinds of stuff. I didn't know this and this. Now, on the other side of the coin, that is how Kennedy and Iger can get out of this lawsuit. They could literally say, Iger's like, I wasn't in charge. So what do you want? Apology? You want this? You want that? You want this? You want that? Here, we'll give it all to you.
Yep.
And even for I hate to say it, but even Kennedy can be like, I want to apologize to Gina Carano. Things were handled terribly. The leadership that was at Disney, that's why they're not there anymore, because certain things slipped out that wasn't supposed to slip out, and things happened. We're gonna do new protocols to make sure. Was she
fired under the Chapek or Iger?
Chapek.
It was a Chapek regime. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could throw Chapek under the bus big time, give her a settlement, give her the apology. Make some things right, I guess.
So you need to get Chapek in there first. Hopefully he spills the beans, and then that puts Kennedy and Iger in even more hot water to come and defend themselves.
What if Chapek reached out to the lawyers and said, if you get me on that stand, I could say this, this, and this. So I don't know.
Bro. Be a canary. Let's go.
That'd be a movie scene.
And then afterwards, we need to get Chapek on here because he'll have his NDA off and he can come spill some more beans. There we go. Keeping the wheels
that's who
turning
I
there.
think would be like the shocker of them all.
Yeah.
I
You
think
need
that's
to be
the
a
wild
lawyer.
card, because I'm looking at the people that they might call up, and I'm like, everything within me like saying Kathleen Kennedy would not want to look at Gina in the face or go to court or talk about stuff like that. And I bet she'd be willing to pay out the wazoo to not let that happen.
See, I don't know. I don't think a person like Kathleen Kennedy has much of a conscience. I think she'll be able to get over there, get on that stand, and with a smile on her face, lie as long as she knows it's not going to come out.
She can't lie though when the emails are right in front of her. That's the thing. And she can't. She's in charge of Lucasfilm. The big thing about this case was the fact that the Lucasfilm or Star Wars official Twitter account came out and was like, yeah, Gina's not working for us because her social media posts we don't agree with. They're abhorrent and all that. They've never done that for anyone.
Yep.
Anyone. And the fact that there's multiple Zoom calls with Kathleen Kennedy and emails, allegedly, like that's in the reports. Like, I haven't seen anything. I'm telling you, like people might ask, they're like, Jay, you've seen. I haven't seen. We don't talk about the case when we're together.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't think she wants that out there, because for whatever we feel about Kathleen Kennedy, and most people on this side of the coin think she's terrible, she does have this weird legacy in Hollywood where she promoted women, put women in the right place. She's got multiple awards for treating women with better, like giving them opportunities when nobody else would. She had this weird legacy of producer for like some of our favorite, look, she's even on the Goonies, and like other things as well.
Yeah.
When she took over Lucasfilm is when it all started going down for the most people, but still in that Hollywood circle, the fact that she would have to look and say, yeah, we said all this about a woman and it really wasn't true. Yeah, I let Lucasfilm employees go on their social media and call this woman horrible things, and we did nothing about it. I just feel like how could she want that out there when she's about to she's going to be 80 in a few years, and it's like that's how she wants your legacy to unfold, is that you had to go to court by a woman who you are supposed to protect, who you vowed to like raise up and like work with and all that stuff. You did that, Kathleen Kennedy. Give me back my award. Give it back. Give it back to me. You know what I mean? It's like that's going to be the end of your legacy, that you lost in court to a woman and you destroyed her career.
This is a great play. This is really a great play. And I think that, as long as it's feasible, this should definitely be the route that Gina's team tries to go. Now, obviously,
they are. I mean, that's in the documents, like that she was not being treated fairly as a woman because the men, Pedro Pascal and everybody else that she named, they could post whatever they want about Donald Trump or anything else in the court documents.
Yeah, and just recently, Jack Black now.
Yeah, I keep tweeting, guys, like you're helping us out, and it's just like,
please,
nothing happened to them.
So, and nothing will happen to them, because even though Gina's a woman and Kathleen Kennedy is supposed to be uplifting women all the time and whatever, she's a woman with wrongthink. And it's not even like, because nothing that Gina has said is inherently conservative for what they actually sacked her for. So it's like a centrist wrongthink. It's like a moderate, benign wrongthink. And that's the most wild part of it.
And to tell you the truth too, what I've seen is kind of interesting. When Gina would post something, the mob would be like, you're like a horrible, venomous stuff on her Twitter.
All the understanding and reasonable and accepting people.
The first time she posted about the lawsuit, it was awful.
Yeah.
Then when she started winning, you could literally see the tone begin to change. Now that the court documents are out and people are like, they treated her pretty bad. From stuff that's been out there in public now, they're like re-education program, this and all that. And they're like, oh, you mean she really did have to go through that? I thought she was making it up. And so now, like when these court things are being posted, there's a couple people here and there that is like, oh, you're this. But the majority of people now, it's like, go get them. Let's go. We got your back. Like, let's, and it's like,
it's growing every day.
Yeah, to see this kind of shift. And listen, I'm with her at every con, and I'm in line, and people get up there, and they're just like, win. Like, we want you to win. And it's just a nonstop. Like, I drove 3 miles just to tell you that we love you and we stand with you. And I don't even want an autograph. You know, it's like we hear that all the time. And it's just the other people at the cons are just like, man, you have support I wish I had.
Because she's doing something real. She's doing something that's important.
That, and also she was thrust into a culture war, which I'm pretty sure she didn't want to be in.
No,
that's not what she wanted to do, but she was thrust into it like a lot of us were. We didn't want to have this argument about political ideologies and our escapism.
No, we didn't.
But you put it on us, so now here you go. Here's the Feltoning you deserve. You are going to take it at this point, and that's why people show so much support to Gina, because it's just like, you were put in the wrong place, but we're going to support you as much as possible. Keep fighting back because you didn't deserve any of this, and we like your stuff.
And the ideology was always there in a minor way. We always had some little hints at leftist things or a shot at Republicans, but it wasn't the focal point of what they were doing. And that's the problem now, is the story isn't even second or third. It's fourth and fifth, as opposed to the agendas they're trying to push. And that's the problem. There was always leftism in Hollywood. There was always leftism in TV shows and a lot of entertainment, but it was more subtle. It was a flash. It was a off-color joke. It wasn't a whole entire theme. And if it was, you knew that's what it was going to be. They weren't trying to hide it or couch it in something you already loved. And when that happened, the fans turned, it flopped. They didn't do it again for a while. But now it's just the norm. And I think that's why we see the massive pushback. So I'm pumped for Gina. As long as she's willing to keep fighting, Godspeed.
Yeah.
We have your back. If you are exhausted, Gina, and you feel like you cannot go further, it's okay. We're not going to be mad at you. Like, you've done so much more than any of us in this space could have possibly tried to do. So you're awesome. The last thing that I want to ask you about, I'm going to bring this back down for a second. So we're going to leave on a low note. I was going to go high. We're going to leave on a low note because I needed to get your opinion on this, since kids are something that, kids and the wellness of kids and things like that is something that you're passionate about. What's your opinion on all the shit coming out about Mr. Beast and Chris Tyson and the basically David showed me the Keno Casino clips about how the Mr. Beast shit's a lottery and all the things going on with Chris Tyson and the underage kids. We don't have to go too long, but what is your opinion and, a synopsis on how you feel about this massive fall from grace that we are seeing Mr. Beast occur and exposing that he's kind of a piece of shit and Chris Tyson is an absolute piece of shit?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's the sad reality is that I hate to be that guy, man, but it probably will be forgotten in like 3 months, the way the internet works and how people don't hold them accountable. I am like really good friends with Jake the Viking, who was part of Mr. Beast and who doesn't work with him anymore. And, he's taken me on some of his adventures and just hearing some of the stories and stuff. And it's just like, these people get to a place where they feel like they're untouchable, and, it's like, I'm the number one YouTuber in the world. Like, everybody knows me and like, we could do whatever we want.
Yep.
And I would have more respect for them if they just came out and were like, yeah, I got caught. I did this. I'm a terrible person. I got to go to counseling and, and not try to cover, like the cover-ups, I think make it worse in my opinion.
1,000%.
100%. Cover-up's always worse than the crime. That phrase is so damn true.
But it's disgusting, man. But it seems like a new one's coming out every week.
Oh, it's wild.
The Chris Tyson guy, like, I refuse to call him a girl.
No, you shouldn't.
And especially the fact that he's not actually trans. He has autogynephilia, and he gets off at acting like a woman and then trying to go. He's the same thing as whatever Leah Thomas's male name was. It has nothing. It is about dominating women and being in women's faces and seeing them naked. He still gets a boner from seeing women naked, but he does it under disguise, and that's kind of what autogynephilia is.
Man.
It's fucking gross. It is abnormal. It is a mental disorder.
The thing is, the only people that are talking about this are people that probably don't watch his content.
No, that's the problem.
Like us, you know.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
never
like
watched Mr. Beast at all.
And that and it's I've seen it, man. It's just like Twitter makes a big noise. Maybe a couple Twitter media types will cover it.
A couple viral things.
A couple big YouTubers will speak about it, but then, you know, the next thing will happen. It's like that, because what really opened my eyes to a lot, like how crazy times we live in. Love him or hate him, freaking Trump almost got killed.
Love him
in front of a live
and no one gives a fuck.
Audience. And
well,
like,
that is also a pretty orchestrated cover.
It's a big psyop.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
but it's also like the Epstein shit.
I don't think people understand the magnitude of what just happened. And it's like, for a couple days, that picture, I was like, oh, it's the hardest picture ever. And then it's like, all right, what's next? You know, it's like, let's move on to the next one. You know, if you're old enough to remember 9/11, that I was there, celebrated America for months. You know, after that, oh my gosh, from New York, holy crap, brother. And it's like for months on end, and people, you know, those monuments are like visited. The first time I went to that monument, which was, I think I went 2 years ago. It's such if you've never been, I recommend people go. It's crazy because New York is hustle, bustle, busy, noise. You walk near those where the towers were, it's like eerie quiet.
It's tranquil, and that water constantly going down just adds to that. And tranquil. It's solemn. It's a solemn spot.
The one thing that hit me about that place was the one tree that survived. That's like that you just kind of like, man, this is just, you know, you look up and it's for someone that wasn't there when all that stuff happened. It's just, but you know, Donald Trump gets shot in the ear, and the first thing is like, nah, he didn't really. It's not a big deal. It's like,
and the non-conspiracy theorists are yelling stage. And here's the crazy part: they're taking pictures now from Saturday of his ear that is basically healed, right? Because he got scraped by a bullet. He didn't get. It was not like he got shot in the head. The bullet did hit him, but it was a scrape, and it's mostly healed. Number one, we heal motherfuckers. Like that's part of the human body. And number two, you think he didn't get some sort of plastic surgery really quick to kind of get it? Maybe
the other thing is the biggest thing that people are disgustingly forgetting is somebody died.
Yes. Someone died, and two were in critical. They survived,
and one, and he was like, he was over his two girls. When he got shot,
protecting them.
Yeah, and you have pieces of shit like Destiny. Well, we shouldn't give him that much light of day.
Shouldn't even bring up his name.
But you know what, though? I am going to bring it up in infamy because motherfuckers need to be called out. I'm not going to really talk about it, but Destiny is a steaming pile of shit. And I'm a Christian. He needs a lot of fucking redemption. If he wants to come back, he needs a lot of begging and pleading to come back into good graces. Because you know what? There was a point where I was like, maybe Destiny at one point could jump on the show. He's kind of an asshole, but why not? At this point, Destiny is not allowed. I don't care if anyone is peripheral friends with him who we have on the show. Destiny can get fucked until he is actually apologetic for being a piece of shit.
Well, and the thing the thing also is that I do feel like if you were to talk to a lot of people who aren't online a ton, they actually might still like talk about the Trump assassination a whole lot more than we see what's happening online. Online moves really quickly, especially with everything going on. We had a sitting president drop out of a race because of his age, but not drop the presidency, which is really weird. All of a sudden, Kamala Harris is apparently cool and not cringe, which is really weird.
Yeah,
which is that really weird picture of fucking Time where she's on top of the coconut with a giant head, and she's that is the weirdest picture to try and promote her.
It's such a crazy.
So online is a crazy space, but when you step back and you talk to people who aren't on it a lot, those people are still like, we almost had a former president, someone running to be president again, almost get assassinated.
I say all that to tell you this. You're exactly right. Yes. I say all this to tell you this, that those people will have no idea what happened with Mr. Beast.
Yes.
And so
Bring
Mr.
it back
Beast will
full
show
circle.
up at some
Yep.
mall and everybody will
Yep.
cheer him. And they're like, how could you cheer him? Like I mean, it wasn't him that did it, but he defended, you know, and it's just like.
But it came out, he was, if you listen to Side Scrollers, I don't know if you saw Craig talk.
Oh,
He had the kid that was there, and he said Jimmy was in he participated in the chat that the kid was moderating, but he didn't participate in the NSFW one a lot, but he was there. He was able to see all the messages. So Mr. Beast is directly involved.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not involved. He knew what was going on. And the thing is, I feel like it kind of falls on the responsibility of some of us that are in this space to keep bringing it up, even if it's quickly, right? Bring it up. We need to bring up the Epstein client list more often, because that shit is the worst thing.
Like, what?
We don't know. It's all gone already. Yeah, it's crazy.
Where that should have been released to the public a long time ago.
And we should be rampaging about it every day.
Yeah, like it's just, and that's where it all comes back to. Parents, please check on what your kids are watching and stay informed. 100%. If they have a favorite YouTuber, just do a little research. It's not hard.
Get them off Roblox. And that fucking thing.
Oh, dude,
Roblox is a predator breeding ground. And it's crazy. We survived AOL chat rooms, and they were bad. But it's like, it's worse now. It's terrible. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, you know, like even you know, that Dr. Disrespect thing is just as gross, you know. Just like
but he lost everything for it. And Mr. Beast has not had a single repercussion.
That is, and see, that's where it comes back to, do you have the right politics? Because if you have the right politics, you do whatever you want. If you know, Dr. Disrespect was Trump 2024. All right, we need to erase him from existence. Take away all his monetization. Take it all away. Just he'll be done. Get him out. Get him out. Chris Tyson has both acts were terrible. Like, don't talk to kids. Like, that's the bottom line. Just don't talk to kids. But the Chris Tyson stuff, if there was a scale, is worse because there was pictures and like some of the graphic Discord stuff that was shared and like, and it's, of course, we didn't see what Dr. Disrespect said, like those chat groups. So I can't say that, but it's just like, there's headlines for him saying, "Oh, it's attack on trends," and all. You're just like, "What?"
That's such a bullshit, and it's such a cop out. And like you said, it's the right type of person versus the wrong type of person.
Yeah, and it's man, it's terrible that's where we are as a society right now. And again, I think it just comes back to make sure the people you love, just check on what they like watching and just double, you know, like just be involved in the people that you love just a little bit. Just make sure, you know, I think one of the most heartbreaking videos that I ever see online, and I hate watching them, I hate it, is I think libs of TikTok or someone posts them every now and then. It's like they show these beautiful women and they get indoctrinated, and in like 2 years they're like bald and fat and
leftism. Not even one.
They've got like tattoos all over their face, and it's like, holy crap! Did not one person reach out to them and be like, "Hey," you know? And
you want to ask them, "What's your relationship with your father?" Honestly, it's my first fucking question.
It's wild.
What's your relationship with your father? Not even to be a joke.
Like, it's wild to see this transformation of, and then it's just like they're miserable. And I always go down to my thought process is like these people on the certain progressive left, people on the right, mostly conservatives, just want to be left alone, want a good cup of coffee, want a fun show, want to read some comic books, maybe read a nice book, maybe shoot some guns, maybe fish a little bit, cook on the grill. And that's usually our lives, right?
Basically.
The lefts are like, every day they got to wake up and they got to find some dragon to slay. You know, so, and when I say dragon, I say some make-believe outrage that doesn't exist. And they think that creating a hashtag and getting it viral is, we did it. You know, the funniest thing ever. Oh man, you got me started. The funniest thing
ever. Keep it going.
I'm going to respect your channel.
No, go for it. There is no fucking respect. Let's
go.
We don't respect our own channel.
These retarded college kids that started protesting for Palestine on the college campus, and they would come out and they'd go, "All right, we got a list of demands for our protests. We don't want the school involved in Israel. We need food here. We need some water. You know, maybe some blankets, some pillows, some new tent. The demands were like, can you build us an apartment? Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then it's like the schools come out and go, you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
The cafeteria's right there.
Yeah.
Some of y'all got food credit.
Which
I'm not
is
bringing
also,
you food.
fuck these schools because they breed this. So they
that's what I'm
deserve
saying.
what they're
It's like-
getting. They should have brought them food because they allowed these assholes
It's
to
so
think this way.
funny. Well, there was one that I guess they had enough because they told the students, if you protest Palestine, you can't come to your graduation. You know, if you do this protest and don't go to class, you can't come to graduation. They're like, no, we're saving the world. We're gonna like camp around the flagpole and bring us food. And it's like the demands were just so funny. One of them was like they needed a barber. They needed That's
a great meme. I respect
and like
that
the
one.
whole I did this all on CobraCast. So like I'm like, we're playing all these videos of these freaking students of just
It was Harvard, by the way.
Harvard, and they were just like, of all places,
Yeah,
they were they were like, our demands, we're gonna end our fast because our demands weren't met. And we're like, how long did you fast? 9 hours. We're like, oh, come.
That's not a fast. That's
on,
going to work,
man.
you asshole.
You're a
Like,
senator.
going to work
Like-
and skipping lunch.
You just sit and laugh at them, and it's like, man, you are gonna be miserable, like
They're ready for the real world, right?
that's like that senator. Did you guys see that picture
Yeah.
of the senator who did a water fast
Yeah.
Oh my god.
for like 6 hours?
And he was out there like
state
he was
senator?
like dying.
He's like dying, and they got
Yeah.
like they're checking his pulse
Yeah.
and heart, and he's like laying on the
It's
ground.
like, oh my goodness.
That's when I wanted a bunch of Muslims to walk by and just be like, seriously? And then just keep going because they do it once a year. They fast from the sun up to the
Christians
sun down.
fast too. It's just
Christians
like
do fast, but we're just bad at being Christian in the West.
it is just. I sat there and I was like, you went 8 hours without drinking water, and you think you did something?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It was such an act. too.
Yeah.
It was such an
That
act.
picture is freaking hilarious, man. I gotta find it. I gotta find it because it just makes me laugh.
Wait, Alex
that-
Stein
but-
put Gay Cowboys for Kamala was his new song. I love Alex Stein. Sorry about that. Just reading the chat here. That's fantastic.
Here, hold on,
I
I
love Alex Stein so
gotta
much.
show it.
You
This
find it.
guy, hold on. This guy went without. Yeah, imagine hanging out with him for a day. Oh my gosh, don't get me started. This guy gave up water for a few hours, and look at this. Like,
You found the most unflattering picture of that chick in the red and black too. That's terrible for her.
this is the picture that they put all over the place. Like he's got like a
Oh.
rag on his neck, his tie's open. He's getting his pulse done.
Like
Is
she's
she wearing
really
a
been through
mask
something.
too? Is she wearing a mask
Yeah,
over here?
yeah, she got a mask on.
Oh my god. I fucking hate when I see people wearing masks.
I'm
But
just
yeah, no,
saying,
that's
like,
crazy.
Here's the thing. You're an elected official. You represent a certain county, whatever, to go in there and make change, not to stand outside the Capitol and go, I'm not going to drink water because nobody listens to me. And then take the most stupidest picture ever. I bet the homeless people that are around Washington, D.C. had a big spin of yarn watching that
Yeah, really.
fiasco,
Oh my
you know. What he wrote was, the thirst fast was so challenging because it was one of the hottest days in DC.
Oh my goodness.
It wasn't as hot as it was in Texas, but believe me when I tell you, it was difficult.
So
Jeez.
pathetic. Like the thing is, he is such a beta in every which way. It's terrible.
Well, that's a part of the issue. It's a bunch of theater kids. A lot of the people that run for office are just theater kids. So they put all these theatrics on, but never actually get anything done. But that's also how to get people to vote for them, because they're good at acting as if they're going to do something.
No. They're not good at acting. It's just they're good at talking to the retards that vote for them to make them vote them.
Hey.
Because if you believe that, you're a retard. Like there is just no other way to go about it. And you are definitely a product of the public schools that we've been complaining about. So
Yeah, but
it's
that's the thing.
sad.
That's these certain people cater to this weird TikTok generation that thinks that they're actually doing something by camping around a tent pole and having a list of demands, and any demand or whatever you thought you did absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing changed, but you just look like a retard.
They felt good about themselves. They virtue signaled and they let everybody know they're good people.
That's the thing. It's
good people. You're bad.
They think they're slaying a dragon.
Yep.
You know, and it's just it's crazy that
white hetero cis dragon.
What they breed, man. Yeah.
It's pathetic. But overall, Jay, I want to thank you for coming on. This was
man, I loved it, man.
Absolute fucking blast.
You're awesome.
You're always welcome to jump on, and we are going to end on a high note because I want you to promote what you got coming up with Achromatic Chronicles Green, all the stuff you have coming up. Give us some more. Give us a rundown again of what's coming up in the future.
So hopefully in about 2 weeks we will launch. Depending on where you live, it's either Achromatic or Achromatic Chronicles Green, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll be the first campaign launched with the Rippaverse in their new.
Yes, we didn't get to talk about Ripascend.
Yeah, Ripascend, and they have been a joy to work with. I mean, Eric's a friend of mine, of course, but they have been a joy to work with, and they're excited, and I'm excited, and we'll see what happens. You know, we'll see what happens, and then after that, I'll be in Chicago on the 15th at the Chicago Fan Expo with Gina Carano. Come say hi. I'll be in Toronto with Gina August 23rd to the 25th at that Fan Expo. If you're around there, come say hi. And then I'll do this campaign for a few months. And then after that, I'm gonna disappear and rest.
And we really appreciate you coming on in all this hectic time.
No, I love it, man. I love it.
I know it's been hectic for you. You're getting ready. You're gearing up for all this stuff. And
you know what it is? It's not that I'm like, it's not that I'm really busy. It's like, it's pockets of busy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, from like 9 to 11, it's, I need this, boom, 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 do this. And then once it's done, you kind of like take a deep breath, go cut the grass, wash your car, because then the next phase will hit after you turn all that stuff in. And then you're like massively busy for 2 hours and you forget emails. And then it's like, all right, where am I again? So it's weird. It's a different type of busy, but I'm looking for, I want this thing to launch just so I can be done with it and I can get that into people's hands.
Yep.
So, you know,
everyone do us a favor here. I'm going to share, go over to Drunk3PO's
hey, look at that. Hey, come on, man. Where's your dark mode at, dude? What are you doing?
Listen. I am in
there's no excuse. There's actually
I'm in dark mode in almost everything else besides this. But overall, go over here. You're right over here, the subscribe button. I'm going to unsubscribe real quick just to show everybody what to do. Resubscribe. Click here. Boom. Click that subscribe button. Go over there. He's at 96.7K. Let's help get him over to 100K because he deserves it. And everybody, like we said, when you are, wanting to promote more, let us know as things are coming up. We want to make sure that we promote it even more and more. And let's get it to the point where Jay doesn't have to go cut his grass anymore. Where we can get him to make enough money to go pay people to cut his grass.
I probably still would
but, no, seriously, you are somebody who is bringing something great to the world, whether you know it or not. You and your team are bringing positivity. You're bringing fun. And, like I said, I'm talking from experience from watching two little girls, 6 and 4, sit there every night with me going, Daddy, we're going to read it tonight. Let's read it.
That's
and
amazing.
Just having joy on their face as they read it. And when I told them, hey, there's another one coming out, they're like, yes. So it's like, it's fantastic. So, I appreciate you coming on. I loved hearing all the stories and getting a little inside stuff. Like that was a blast.
Oh, I hope you have me back.
You're welcome anytime. So,
awesome.
You kick the door in one day. If you see someone you like, shoot me a message and you could jump on and kick the door in and have some fun and talk to whoever the hell we have on here.
I'd love that.
Overall, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it. Everyone on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. We appreciate all of you, all the new subs and people that are fans of Jay that maybe like us as well. I don't know why you like us, but we appreciate it if you do. Jumped on. We appreciate everyone. Make sure you go subscribe, share it, like it, the comments. We appreciate all those. And go on to X and do the same there. Follow. So we'll be back next week. We have another fun show. ahead. I think we're actually jumping back into we're staying actually in culture side next week. Hopefully, if our I never like to announce guests, but we are staying into more of the culture and entertainment side. So we're hanging in there. So be excited. Hail the Fellowship, Absolutely Dark Intelligence. Hail
the 199.
Hail the 199.